well, college basketball may be over, but the NBA's version of March Madness starts this week. We have the NBA play-in tournament. While it does kind of water down the regular season that players already don't care about a whole lot by now having 20 of the 30 teams qualifying for the NBA postseason, the play-in tournament might actually be one of my favorite kind of gimmicks here. Maybe gimmicks not the right word, but postseason formats, as it adds, this single elimination format to a best of 7 pro series. It makes, some of these borderline teams, maybe they're now competing, trying to get in the play-in instead of tanking. So I do give Adam Silver credit for, he tries to be innovative, coming up with these new ideas that other leagues aren't doing, and I kind of like it. I dig it a little bit. So play-in tournament, we're going to get into here my predictions and bets for the play-in tournament games. I'm DaRock, and I'm the host of Layup Lines, the now NBA basketball betting show here on the Bandwagon Sports YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, we're doing videos like this on NBA, NHL, MLB every day here now through the end of their postseason. So make sure to like the video and subscribe down below so you stay up to date with all the content. So we're going to get into it here. We're going to start with the Western Conference games on Tuesday. The first one at 7:30 Eastern on TNT. The 7-seeded New Orleans Pelicans are 1.5-point favorites against the Los Angeles Lakers. And this is surprising me because the Lakers, they won 3 of the 4 meetings in the season series. On December 7th, they won 133-89. December 31st was the one game they lost, 129-109. But then bounced back with the wins on February 9th, 139-122. And then on Sunday, they won 124-108. Blowout win for the Lakers. They looked very dominant. And now 2 days later, same setup. Lakers heading to New Orleans. They're underdog. I don't see how. I'm going to take the Lakers minus 1.5. Also, sometimes with the postseason here, it comes down to who's playing hot at the right time. In their last 10 games, the Lakers are 7-3. Pelicans are 5-5. They're not impressive lately. The Pelicans, people thought they could get as high as the 4 seed, like they were looking like they had a chance to. They've now slipped all the way down into 7. The Lakers, they were fighting. They could have been the 10 seed. They've jumped all the way up here to 8. They put themselves in good position. And, when you have LeBron James on your team, it is hard to bet against him. He is the sunshine to this Lakers squad. The Lakers are also, they're 2-0 all-time in the postseason. They won the 7-8 game, the first one ever in 2021, and then also last season at home against Minnesota. This time they do have to go on the road for the first time. But like I said, when you have LeBron James, you have Anthony Davis, 2 of the best players in the league. It's hard to bet against them. Pelicans do have Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, but Brandon Ingram's coming back from an injury. Zion Williamson, can be explosive, but I don't know. We'll have to see. He hasn't really proved it in the postseason yet. Pelicans actually are 2-1 in the play-in all-time. 2 years ago, they were the 9 seed, made it all the way to the 8 seed. They got the 8 seed. They won both play-in games, but then last year lost to OKC in the first game. So we'll see what they can do this year, but I like the Lakers to at least take this game. They're going to be the 7 seed, play Denver. See, I almost don't know if winning this game is worth it. Maybe you would rather have Oklahoma City, the young, inexperienced team, as opposed to the defending champions. But in the play, like I said, single elimination, you never know. This game actually is kind of double elimination for these teams. They would have a second chance, but I don't really think you want to put yourself in a one-game single elimination against either the Kings or the Warriors. That's the second game here on Tuesday at 10 Eastern on TNT. The Warriors are 2.5-point favorites on the road here in Sacramento. These two teams played a thrilling 7-game series last year in the first round. They're developing a bit of a rivalry here because 3 of their last 4 meetings this season were decided by 1 point. So the only one that wasn't, on October 27th, Golden State won 122-114. That was the biggest win. 8 points, biggest win in any of these teams' meetings this season. But then on November 1st, Golden State won 102-101. Then on November 28th, Sacramento won 124-123. And then on January 25th, Sacramento won 134-133. So these teams both split series 2-2. Both teams were 1-1, home and road each. But once again, the Warriors are their hot team right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. The Kings are 4-6. They're slumping. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are really a great 1-2 duo, but once again, I'm just going to go with the more experienced team. The Warriors, they have Steph Curry. He's averaged over 30 points per game against the Kings this season. He had 50 points in that Game 7 last year. I mean, in games like this, single elimination is really hard to pick against the best player on the court. The Warriors have had their issues this year, between, the Draymond Green suspension, Klay Thompson starting to, slow down a little bit here. But I think they may have one last run in them. I like them to win this game against Sacramento. And it's just tough for the Kings. I mean, they're a really good team. Like I said, had a really good year last year, out bounced by this Golden State team. And then just the West was dominant. A lot of these young teams took a leap, like OKC and Minnesota, and Sacramento kind of got left behind, falling all the way to the 10. I think they get bounced. I think one game is kind of all, or I'm sorry, Sacramento's the 9, but I think Golden State goes on the road and they knock off Sacramento like they did last year on the road. Then we move to Wednesday's Eastern Conference games. These games got messed with a little bit because the NHL scheduling conflict. Big game between the Flyers and Capitals on Tuesday that pushed this Sixers Heat game to 7 Eastern on ESPN on Wednesday. Sixers are 4.5-point favorites against the Heat. This is another season series where both teams won 2 games. They split the 4 games. On Christmas Day, the Heat won 119-113. On February 14th, the Heat won 109-104. Then on March 18th, Philly won 98-91, low scoring one there. And then the final game of the season, Philly won 109-105 back on April 4th. That was the only game Embiid played in this season between these two teams. These two teams are both hot at the right time. Sixers 8-2, like I mentioned. Joel Embiid is back. Heat are 7-3. And for me, I think that's what does it. Joel Embiid, if he was healthy this year, he was playing well enough that he could have won back-to-back MVPs. The Sixers team would be a lot higher than a 7 seed. I honestly think with just like how bad the Bucks fell off, I could see the Sixers, if Embiid stayed healthy, being like the 3 seed, maybe even the 2 seed. Him and Maxey are a really solid duo. I think they're like 31-8 or something like that when the two of them have played. The Heat do have this ability to go on runs, but I don't know. I just haven't seen it as much from them this year. Jimmy Butler, he always turns up in the playoffs. However, the Heat last year, they did lose that first game. They were the 8 or the 7 seed. They lost to the 8 seed Hawks and then rallied to come from behind to beat the Bulls in the second play-in game to get the 8 seed before they going on that huge run, knocking off the Bucks in 5, making quick work of the Knicks, and then just had a 3-0 lead on the Celtics despite blowing it. Still won in Game 7 before falling in the finals. So the Heat do turn up in the postseason, but I think Philly's a better team, and home court I think will play a big advantage in this one. The Philadelphia crowd, they're really raucous. They get behind their teams. So, and like I said, Flyers are hoping to get in the playoffs. Sixers are in the play-in. Like Philly sports is a good time for them right now. The fans are really going to be into it. So 2 big games here at the Wells Fargo Center back-to-back days. I'm not sure if the Flyers will be victorious on Tuesday, but I like the Sixers to cover the spread and be victorious on Wednesday. And then the final play-in game here, late start here in Chicago, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. The Bulls are 3.5-point favorites against the Atlanta Hawks. These two teams have been locked into the 9 and 10 seeds respectively since January 15th. So these two teams have known they were going to play each other for a while. The Bulls won the season series between these two teams. Well, they only played 3 games, but the Bulls won 2 of 3. December 16th, they won 118-113. And then February 12th, they won 136-126 before losing on April 1st, 113-101. In their last 10 games, Bulls are 5-5, so not great, but you'll take it. The Hawks are 3-7. This Hawks team, they have Trae Young. He's coming back from an injury, but outside of that, there's just really not much there. The Bulls, DeMar DeRozan, he's a clutch player. He performs well in these big games. I think him, maybe Nikola Vucevic has a good game. I don't really know if the Hawks have a big that can stop Vuce inside. So I'm going to go with the Bulls. I like them to also win at home out here in the East. So in the East, I'm going with both the home teams to cover the spread. In the West, I'm going with both the away teams to cover the spread with the Lakers as an underdog winning outright, which I'm actually kind of confused how they are the underdog in that game. I think when the line opened, the Pelicans were the underdog. Like the Lakers were favored on the road. It's kind of crazy how that turned out. But I like the Bulls. I think they have a slightly better team, but I think they get bounced by the Heat, or if the Heat somehow win, then the Sixers. I think the Heat and Sixers are like way up here, and the Bulls and Hawks are way down here. Honestly, the NBA with this, as much as I do love the play-in, one thing I like that they did in the bubble, the play-in was like triggered. You had to be within a certain amount of games. So like I forget, I think it was the Blazers. It was either the Grizzlies were within like 3 or 4 games, whatever it was, of the Blazers, and that's what triggered the play-in. honestly, the Eastern Conference this year, they might have needed that just because these Hawks and Bulls are both sub 500 teams, not even in it. It's not like the West where those 10 teams like all were fighting for it, down in the final week. So those are my picks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, if you're enjoying NBA content, NHL is coming tomorrow. MLB, I did a video on that yesterday. If you just love talking ball, then this is a place for you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment your predictions down below as well too. I want to interact with my fans more. I want to see some more comments. That would mean a lot to me. Like I said, you guys have been doing a great job supporting me. If you're on Spotify, make sure to follow the show, rate 5 stars. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.